Okay, we're here to talk about Mr. Doom, which is a feature film we've just played. And I'm here with the filmmakers. Can you just introduce yourselves, please, and the role that you played in the film?
Yep, I'm Leif Johnson. I'm the writer, director, and editor. And
I'm Andrew Chappell, and I am the sound supervisor.
Thank you very much for joining us and for submitting your film. Can you tell us first how the concept kind of came into being? What was your inspirations, maybe?
I would imagine that most of the films that have been shown in festivals at the moment are like brainchilds of lockdown. And this is no different. It was essentially a film that I wanted to make that I knew could be made. And having looked around glorious Abingdon in Oxford, I sort of took notes of little locations and thought, wouldn't it be good if we could do a film that was just surrounding a pool table, and how easy that would be. And then I found out it wasn't. But we had a plan, and we stuck to it, and we managed to shoot the whole thing in 15 days.
Wow. That's very impressive. How did you find your locations? How did all of that kind of work?
Well, I mean, the main thing was we thought, well, you know, we're London-based. We thought if we're trying to film something in London, that's probably not going to happen.
Yeah. Because of budget?
Because of Londoners.
Yeah.
Because most locations are just like, they know the scores, so many things have been shot, and we were in a little village in Oxford where they were just very intrigued about what we were doing, and they're more than happy to be involved and help out as much as they could, and they weren't at all like jaded. And they were just happy to have something different happen in the village. So we kind of capitalised on that, and we're like, we're not going to be a nuisance, honest. We're not going to like take over your location, honest. And I think at the end they were like, I don't think we'll ever do this again.
But they were very welcoming at the beginning.
At the start, yeah, we basically took advantage of their ignorance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So did you, like the locations, did you redress locations, or did you find them ready?
No, I wrote the script with the locations in mind.
Okay.
Very much like I did with this cast as well. So I wrote the characters with the people in mind. So we didn't really cast it. Okay. We wrote for the people that we knew.
Wrote around them.
Okay. So the main protagonist, Danny Sutcliffe, the guy who plays Mr. Doom, or is he? He is pretty much how he is on screen. There is hardly any difference between them. Okay.
How did you meet all your cast members?
Well, they're all mainly, a lot of them are stand-up comedians.
Okay.
And stand-up comedians from the Northwest. And I always thought, as people, they were very intriguing. And I just wanted them to be themselves. Okay. And I actually found, while shooting, that they made amazing actors. And they, not only did they sort of see the comedy in all the, like within the beat and like the delivery of every line, and they saw the comedy within it, and they could see it. When it came to like the more sort of dramatic scenes, it just came so naturally to them. And I think I asked Danny, I was like, how have you just turned this on? He says, I've turned it off.
Okay. So
I'm always like the clown, and then I've stopped being the clown, and now this is the real me. I'm like, okay, that's pretty deep, and anyway, let's move on.
That's interesting, isn't it? Because there's been a lot of great actors who started off as a stand-up, or comedians, and then suddenly went a complete kind of right turn in their career. Just off the top of my head, you think Jim Carrey, Bill Murray,
Robin Williams.
Exactly, he's probably the number one, isn't he? Right.
Even I watched, I haven't seen it in ages, but Mrs. Brown. So Billy Connolly.
Yeah.
When he did Mrs. Brown, people were like, God, this guy can really act. What the hell,
Yeah, Steve Carell from
Steve Carell, yeah.
So, Andy, when do you come on board? And for people that don't know, what does a sound supervisor do on an everyday basis on the set?
So I wasn't on set at all.
Okay.
I came on board sort of post-production, so after the film was shot, edited, and along with the composer, we kind of, Leif, him and myself, met a few times and kind of went through the film, decided on kind of aesthetic in terms of sound and score, and kind of knitted that together. It was, how long was it, 4 or 5 months? Was it?
In total for post, I would say it was about 5
something
months.
like that, yeah. And I covered everything from dialogue, sound design, and mix and master for theatre.
You did it all.
So what are you looking for then? What are you looking to either improve or to, how does it, you know, what you actually...
So the interesting and fun thing with this film was the elements of hyperreality that were in there.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's a very poignant story in places. There's a lot of comedy in there as well. But there was kind of this real dichotomy of these individuals that were, you know, really down and out for a lot of reality in real life. But when they're on the pool table, they're superheroes effectively. You know, that's their time to shine, and we wanted to kind of amplify that and yeah, make it their thing. Josh, the composer, had this kind of vision of who saw the kind of the guy from out of town coming in, which was Danny, the main support, and from there kind of spawned the western feel that we had, and we kind of dubbed it a northwestern.
So yeah. Like Josh said, this is a western, isn't it? And I was like, yes. That's exactly what I was going for. Now we kind of were. It was all people were saying that, but he really kind of like capitalised on this sort of western theme. And in fact, actually recorded the score in the same way that like a spaghetti western, so using the same amps and everything.
Oh really? Yeah. Okay. Where was that?
In his bedroom.
Okay. Just had the same amps.
No, yeah, he had the amps in.
Yeah. How did you get into being a sound supervisor?
So I've been a musician all my life.
Okay.
Been in bands and toured and all that sort of stuff. Went full time in my studio 4 or 5 years ago, producing music and composing initially. Okay. Then getting into sound design, commercial. Lots thanks to this man. got some amazing opportunities. Actually, the reason we met was Leif directed a music video for the last music video for my band, I think, before we finished. So and he's a musician as well, so we connected and stayed in touch since then. And throughout lockdown, he kind of was saying about the project he was getting on, and I was telling him what I was doing, and we kind of, it just grew from there. But did a couple of short films, and then Mr. Doom came along. So
what's your greatest challenge on a film like Mr. Doom?
It's the volume of work, I think. Right. You know, you've got all the technical things, cleaning up the dialogue and balancing everything, but it's when we're working with, as Leif and the rest of the crew did, working to such a tight budget, getting so much done in such little time. It's just the volume of work really, managing that, but we all pulled together and pulled it out the bag, so it's just throwing in the hours and getting it done really.
As the producer, Leif, obviously this is an independent feature film. You don't have to say what the budget was, it's completely down to you, but how do you go about raising the money for this kind of, because it's, a lot of people, it's not micro budget, but it's not obviously, how do you, because a lot of people say that middle ground is sort of eroding now, how do you even go around about kind of finding money and...
Finding the money, I think, that's the biggest hurdle really. I think actually, despite all the sort of the challenges that you have in making a film, I think actually funding the film is the hardest thing. And it just so happens that I got a contact through a festival organiser who I'd done a short film, and we'd stayed in contact, and she'd actually contacted me and said, I've just come off set from this film and been talking to this executive producer and Johnny Chennett's Silent D, and here's his contact. And so I contacted him, sent him the script, and we chatted for about a month or so. And then he was like, how much money do you think you can do this on? And I was like, how much money are you willing to give?
Yeah.
And the whole film was actually done in 15 days for a reason. And everyone was, because I'm a jobbing director, so I do music videos, adverts and so on. So I've got like a network of people, and I think without that network of people who are willing to sort of, chip in, bring kit, and give me their time and understand and kind of give me a little bit of, they had confidence in what we were doing basically. So we managed to do this whole thing on 60k.
Wow, that's impressive.
Would have liked more.
Yeah.
But the script was written, so we need to make sure that we can actually do this on a very small budget, but have a better return in terms of production value.
And what's the life of this sort of this film? So has it played elsewhere up to this point? Is it on the end of its run now?
Yeah, well,
what's your plan for it going forward?
We did a little run festivals, including this festival. we won at Northampton, and we had a few industry screenings,
Okay.
and got some good contacts. So it is actually, I think yesterday was the final day of Cannes.
Okay.
So it was over at Cannes with a sales agent.
Okay.
It's sold, so I've not heard anything yet. So
okay. You know it's sold?
no idea.
Oh right. Okay.
I guess I find out soon.
Okay.
No idea.
Right. But this kind of, well, when you say it's sold, were you looking to sell it streaming?
Streaming.
Yeah.
At this point, I think because of the amount that it was made on,
Yeah.
it's easy to make a return on that, I guess. And we made this purely just to stop having that cyclical conversation of like, have you made a feature film before?
Okay.
Come back when you have.
Right. Is this your first feature?
Yeah.
Okay. Wow. And so before that was music videos and shorts and things like that.
Shorts, music videos, adverts, like internal corporate comms, that kind of stuff. Interviews like this.
Yeah. How did you find the leap? Obviously, budget is one thing, but what maybe surprised you moving from shorts into features?
Well, now I understand why when you have a conversation with a producer and they say, and you've got a script, and then you go, I really want to do this really adventurous script. It's a horror. I'm really looking for about $1 million, and it's based in. Where is it based? Austria. They go, okay, you've made a film before, right? A feature film. I go, no, but this would be my first. And I make music videos, and it's like, it's kind of like a different beast, and I get it. The way I went into this was thinking, okay, well, I've done 15-minute shorts, and this would be 90 minutes, so it's just going to be like making 6 15-minute shorts,
right.
And we've shot those in like weekends,
Okay.
So I try and sort of departmentalize it and sort of make it sort of easy chunks, which I guess is scheduling a film. But I kind of at the end of it I was like, no, that was hard work, and we took on way too many roles. I understand why crews are bigger now, and it just at the end of it I think it almost killed me. It was very draining, very no sleep, all that kind of stuff. But I'm glad I did it.
Yeah, you made a film.
Yeah,
you made a feature film. Okay, so let's say money was no object and you had all the money that you needed. Yeah. What film? You both answer this if you like. What film would you like to make?
Andy, you go first.
I'd like to make. I mean.
Do you ever think,
Yeah, you go ahead.
I would love to make my next film, which is which is the film that I wanted to make before this.
All right.
This was kind of like, hey, let's make a film that we know we can make.
Okay.
Just to purely stop having that same conversation. To go, yes, we have a film. It's on Amazon. You can see it. Blah, blah, blah. Let's carry on this conversation.
Yeah.
So the film that I really want to make next one is Freitag, which is a horror, but with it's a lot more sort of I don't know what the best word to describe it. Psychedelic. Yeah, I hate that term, intelligent horror.
Horror.
It's just a well-made film that happens to be a horror. Right?
It's like elevated horror. That's the buzzword.
More than psychedelic, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
Everyone hates that word now, don't they? Everyone's had a 360 on it.
Yeah.
Have you thought of one, Andy?
Yeah, well, actually, this is going to sound very, very fabricated, but that's where I was going to go. Was Freitag before you said it. Obviously, having seen chunks of the script, the storyboarding, and some of the treatments that you've done for it, the aesthetic, the visuals, it screams sound design to me. And knowing how Leif works and the style, his style in terms of his filmmaking, it's an exciting project. It's something I really kind of want to get off the ground. So, and having worked on this, previously, I think. Yeah, it's a natural next step and something I'd really like to get my teeth into.
And it's a film that that was written back in before COVID, 2018, and I'm glad I didn't make it then, because since then I've done a lot more as a director, so I do more with virtual production, and now I'm like, all those shots that I thought I can't do this, I can now do this because things have moved on so much in the past 6, 7 years.
In terms of tech.
Yeah, and just my own experience with that as well, and having then shot a feature film that I thought was going to be easy to make. Now I'm like, okay, I feel a lot more prepared now. So Mr. Do, as we're proud of it, but it feels like it was like boot camp.
Okay. But you've got that first one out of the way now, the feature. So
the
world is your oyster.
Well, hopefully. hopefully.
Let's finish. One last question then. One tip that you would give for aspiring filmmakers, what do you think, or aspiring sound supervisors, what would you...
You go first.
Keep going. Don't stop.
Yeah.
Take the knocks and source out as much information as you can from people that you can network with, get to know, because that's vital. It's vital to build a team around yourself or get to know people that are interested in making film. It's a very technical, what I do is a very technical site. Well, it's all very technical, but it's doable, but it just takes elbow grease. Put the effort in and do not give up, because you'll face a lot of setbacks and along the way. So yeah, perseverance.
Mine is put as much pressure on the sound guys as possible. I would say, God, it must be about almost 10 years ago, and I was working for this company, and we got to interview Ridley Scott.
Okay.
And I was very excited, knowing that he had, he could have been just like this grumpy man, which he was, grumpy old man. But he was very lovely. But he got on this sort of kind of rant that I've heard from a lot of seasoned directors, where they say, you can go out and shoot anything. You've got it on your phone now. You've got it on your, you can shoot something like, it's all doable now. In my day, it wasn't doable. We're on film. I was like, yeah, but that's the problem. Everyone's doing it, and it's very saturated. And the market, it's not the same world
competing
anymore.
with everything else as well, YouTube and all the streaming that they didn't have, when he first started. Yeah.
Exactly. So I hate that sort of when they go on a bit of a tirade about, it's so easy for filmmakers. Now, it's not. My advice is don't listen to them, and don't settle for we'll just shoot it on this DSLR, and we'll just, if you have an idea and you want it, because otherwise you come out the other end and you go, if only we'd shot it on this, or as long as we kind of waited and maybe I found this guy who's got this good set of primes or whatever it is, and then you regret the film. Then I would say don't settle, don't just say, we'll just shoot it on this, because that's what Ridley Scott said. So
no regrets.
No, and I think it's important. I think you're always going to have filmmaking is a compromise a lot of the time, and it's just getting the best results out of that situation. But I would say really kind of sort of dig your heels in sometimes when necessary.
Great stuff. Thank you so much, both of you, for coming, for representing your film and submitting it. Best of luck with it and all your future projects. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Cheers.